So the fireplace wall that I wanted was a 4 foot wide wall that was 1 feet deep. That was mostly because of the tile that I was going to be using. And so I just cut 2x4s into those dimensions to start building the wall. I added some blocking to the frame to give the structure a little bit more rigidity, and it also would give me places to screw for when I wanted to attach the plywood. So with this part of my ceiling being a little bit lower, I wasn't able to fit the frame in as I wanted to. And so what I had to do was take the top block off until I got everything in place. And what I'm doing is I'm using a pole leveler to make sure that it is level on all sides before I attach it to the studs in the wall, which wasn't really easy. I had to keep moving it back and forth, front and back and forth. But once I got it, then I was good to go with continuing on with the rest of the process. If I approved, and I guess I did. So this is the wall so far. It has been a struggle to get started and get going with this because my brain is not working in numbers today, like I was mentioning before. And ignore these different woods. I was kind of like just testing out stuff and just kind of like trying to figure out how I wanted to put all this together, but it's very sturdy. And I just have to do the top that's going to go around it, or I should say above it, like in this space. I have to get that in so I can put the plywood on it. I am going to do plywood instead of like cement board or something like that, because it'll be a lot easier once I'm ready to put the tile on it. Yeah, I don't know how I feel right now because my brain, like I said, is just not working. But I'm just gonna keep pushing through this, and I'll get the top done. I'll take those measurements and get those pieces cut and screwed together. But this is it. I was trying to figure out, like, when I looked at it, I was like, I know I exactly want it this high, but seeing it, it does look pretty high off the ground. I don't know how I feel about it necessarily. It's not like I'm gonna change it, but it is quite high. I wish it might, if it was to make it perfect for me, I think I would have put it like maybe a couple inches shorter, like literally maybe 3 inches. But I am not going to do that because 3 inches is not worth it. And I think, I mean, regardless, it's gonna be what I want. So, yeah, I'm gonna get finished with the rest of this. I'm sorry, I'm so brain dead. This upper portion of the wall really had a good friction fit, so it wasn't that hard to get it in place to screw by myself. But what I learned in doing this process is that in doing this alone and lifting this tile by myself, I learned to use my head in ways that I hadn't ever used before. This piece of cardboard just laying around, and it happened to be a decent size to use as a template for my fireplace insert. And so what I did was I put the cardboard up to the insert and traced it out and cut off anything extra that I didn't need. And I was going to use this to put on the plywood and the tile to mark out the places that I need to make cutouts out of each piece. I then took some measurements of the cardboard frame to figure out how far off the ground the cut needed to be so I could get a measurement for cutting out of the plywood. I was going to lay all the plywood and all the tile on the floor to cut it, and so I just wanted to get some good measurements. Now at first, it didn't go to plan, but I figured it out eventually. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why you measure twice and cut once. I think I measured 3 times to get this cut, but as you can see, this is my original cut line here, and I was totally gonna have it messed up, and I just kept looking at it and I was like, this isn't right. I'm supposed to have a little bit of this board to not fully make it over the top, and I knew something was off, and I just kept like looking at it. I was like, I need to measure again. And so I measured again. This is the 3rd measure that I had done at this point. And I was like, okay, it's still not right. So the 4th time I looked at it, I was like, okay, I'm clearly doing something wrong. And I looked at it and I had the numbers reversed. So I was looking at it upside down. So where I thought it said 23 inches from the bottom, it's actually 32 inches from the bottom. And as you can see, now it fits. I'm glad I didn't cut too quick. Measure, 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 and measure again. So as would happen with everybody who tries to record something, my camera died, and so we're missing a lot of footage, and that might include some very difficult to do cutting and putting in place of tile. And so the process came along and I got it done, and so I just used these clamps to hold the tile in place, and everything is pretty stable at this point. But yeah, it was a rough one. I thought about stopping and then waiting till my battery charged, but then I knew I would be just prolonging an already difficult and tiring task. Sorry about it. And now we are entering the world of trim. I was pretty much playing around with some wood that I had on hand. These are some 1x3 boards, and I also used some 1/2-inch MDF that I used to kind of get the look that I was going for. It took a little time and some counsel from a very brilliant mind before I was able to figure out how I wanted it to look in the end. So with this fireplace, I really am impressed, honestly, with the flames. When they're like in this shade of red, because you can change the colors, they really look like it's a recording of fire, which is cool with me. You know, some of these fireplaces come with logs and things like that, but this one didn't. It came with crystals, and at first I was like, these look really, really cheap outside. They look like just big diamonds, but when you put them inside, it really diffuses the light of the tray that holds them, and it makes it feel a little bit more authentic, kind of like hot coal. And so I have it on the red because this red is the most authentic looking light. Of course, if you change the brightness, it does get a little bit more artificial seeming to me. I mean, in the camera it actually looks pretty good. It actually looks like a gas flame. But you know, changing it down to this lowest level, it goes up 5 levels. That's 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th one. And you can also change the colors separately. So I can change the color of the stone. Well, that looks really good. Haven't seen it that way. And I can also change the color of the fire. And so now they match. Oh, that looks really good. I'm shocked. So as I was finishing this fireplace build, I was looking at it and I was just like, you know what? I think it's missing something. And I was playing around with some other things that I had in my house, and I was like, if I add this to the fireplace, does it become too much? And the answer was yes. And so what that told me is that I needed to do it. And so if you want to see what the final result, the ending of how this fireplace came out, be sure to check out the next episode of Boy Meets Home. I'm gonna go Strongwill channel. Peace.